Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Me podcast. Y'all already know I am your host, Zell. I am writing solo. However, some very exciting news. We are going to be changing how we do things around here. So I am going to be partnering up with Leah from Positively Uncensored, and we are going to be recording once a week, and kind of the same way Kaya and Raven do it. One week it'll be on her podcast, Positively Uncensored, and one week it'll be over here. So every other week, we will have 2 episodes. I will have a guest, and maybe our second episode of the week will continue to be solo. Maybe I'll have a guest. We'll see. But I just wanted to give you guys that little update on the pod today. However, we have some things to get into. First things first. Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird broke up. And some of you may be like, you don't know who that is. If you don't know who that is, I think that's a problem. Lesbian royalty, right? Sue Bird was in the WNBA for a long time. I don't know how many years she was in the WNBA, but she's a great WNBA player. Megan Rapinoe is a women's soccer player. She is also a great athlete as well. They've been together for almost 10 years, engaged for most of that. And they just announced out of the blue today that they are no longer together. Megan, came downstairs after I got done recording another podcast and told me, it was like, Megan and Sue broke up. And I said, who? Megan and Sue who? Because it can't be Megan and Sue who I'm thinking of, but it was. And that is crazy. Y'all, my mouth dropped. I literally was like, I'm not going to yelp into this microphone right now, but I was like, what? But you know what? Want the best for them. Love them for that. Continuing on in some women's sports news, we had the WNBA draft this week, and I am very happy that CBA came to negotiations. We have been having so many contract reveals and the girlies are getting paid the way they always should have been paid, and I'm very, 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 very happy. But I'm not going to get into everybody's pockets. AZ Fudd drafted first to the Dallas Wings. Very, very excited. Flau'jae went 8th. I had predicted Flau'jae to be in the top 5, but it's funny because me and my homegirl were out to drinks on Sunday, and I said top 5, and she literally said no, she's going to go 7th or 8th. I said, bitch, do you bet? Because you need to. How did you fucking know that? But she went 8th, and at this point now I can't even remember who she went to because she immediately got traded to the Seattle Storm, which is cool. I'm happy for all of the girlies. And of course, AZ Fudd being drafted 1 is at the top of everything everybody can talk about. We've had a lot of trades also, but I need people to stop asking AZ Fudd about Paige Bueckers. If you are unfamiliar, AZ and Paige were teammates at UConn. UConn has an amazing women's basketball team. It's insane. Gino, he knows what he's doing, okay? I don't like what he did with Don Staley. Don't like that one bit, but he knows what he's doing when it comes to coaching. Paige went number 1 last year in the 2025 draft, and then AZ, who, yes, they have been dating. They've been allegedly, well, not allegedly, they did date. I don't know why I'm tripping on my words there. They did date. They came out and said it, but then they quickly pulled back on posting about their relationship because people are getting really weird, rightfully so. And now that AZ has been drafted to the same team that Paige is on, people are kind of just nitpicking, being like, they want to ask, hey, are you guys still together, without asking. Here's my thing. 1, these are young women, okay? Even if they have broken up, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't guess. I don't want to guess. Because even if they have, first of all, they are 2 great athletes. There is so much more that we could be talking about and asking them about other than one another, right? And other than their relationship. If they did break up, these are 2 young women in their 20s. They're like, if they did, they did. They're lesbian. I don't know if they're lesbians or bisexual or what, but they're queer girls. We break up all the time and we remain friends, and they're athletes. They would not be the first couple to be on the same team and date, and they wouldn't be the first couple to be on the same team and break up. That shit happens. We need to move on, and I feel really bad that AZ keeps getting all of these questions about her personal life or about Paige, because every time they ask her about Paige, she's doing really good in the PR. She redirects the conversation to all of the teammates, right? Because it could be frustrating to be on a team, whether they are dating or not. So I don't know, again, But there is a whole entire team there on the Dallas Wings, and they are still building. They did not have a good season last season. Okay, now they fired their coach that was coaching last year, thank goodness. I shouldn't say thank goodness. I don't want somebody to be out of a job, right? But it wasn't good. It wasn't good. No, babe. It got him up out of there. And they have a new coach, so we will see where they're going. They have potential on the team. All of the women on Dallas Wings are very, very, very talented. We just need somebody to steer the ship, and we need to pull the focus onto basketball, not who's dating who, right? Now, speaking of more basketball, Angel Reese is going to Atlanta. And that's like news from the other week, but I'm very excited for her. And then one of my other favorite players, Marina Mabrey, is going to the Toronto expansion team. And her sister, Dara, who has been playing overseas, is on the, she's on the team as well. But it's like a limited contract. Don't quote me. But yeah, that's really exciting. So I'm super excited for this WNBA season. Me and Megan, are going to All-Star Weekend since it's in Chicago in July. I could not be more excited. Now, to get into some non-sports related things. Somebody over at Vogue called Tracy Ellis Ross's afro a cloud bob. You heard me. A cloud bob. And rightfully got eaten the fuck up for it. I have to laugh. A cloud bob. A cloud bob. I'm sorry. You called an afro. Like, on one hand, I think it is the funniest joke that they did not mean to make. Because cloud bob, that doesn't even sound like a hairdo. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Secondly, as I always say, when things get put to print, get, put on like the big screen or, same thing. Like, I think I said this with, what's that comedian's name? Matt Rife. He had that terrible Netflix special where he made really bad, insensitive jokes. I said, do you know how many people this went through? And then they said, okay, yeah, that's fine. Put it up. Same thing, same way I feel about the cloud bob. How many people did that go through? And they were like, okay, sure, cloud bob. Not one. Cloud bob. Oh my God, I might have to name this episode Cloud Bob because I laughed out loud. Now, the person who wrote that, last time I saw, they did issue an apology. Can you imagine having to apologize for calling an afro a cloud bob? Oh, Lord Jesus. Another day on earth, right? I just thought that was funny. To get into Bravo stuff, I do want to issue a correction. Last week on this podcast with Hannah Aaron Brown, I said that Amanda Batula blocked Kea from Bravo While Black, that she blocked Bravo While Black. I went back because one of you posted it on Threads. It started going a little viral, okay? And then somebody in the comments was like, wait, I heard that as Kea said, Amanda should block her. Like, Amanda should block her. And she said it on Kendrick's podcast. And so I was like, did I misunderstand? So I went back and I listened to Kendrick's podcast with Taylor Crumpton and Kea. And I heard, and I was like, oh shit. I heard that wrong. And so y'all know I value keeping it real. I don't want to start rumors just for the sake of like me not liking what's going on right now. I don't want to put out misinformation. So I apologize. I heard it wrong. When Kea started talking, she said, Amanda blocked me. And I heard Amanda blocked me. But what she really said was to type it out, Amanda, block me. Period. Like telling her to block me because I'm going to stay on your ass. And when I heard Amanda blocked me, right, I added an ED there. I was like, holy shit. And I ran with it. So I apologize. Again, I don't ever want to put information out there just for the sake of like being salacious or spreading lies, even though I do not care for Amanda. I'm not going to spread a rumor just for the sake of it. So wanted to correct myself there. Getting into, I know I haven't spoken about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills at all. However, and because I haven't watched it. However, I did get tapped into Rachel Zoe's ex-husband's girlfriend, the tea there, right? I guess Rachel Zoe has been talking about the husband, or the ex-husband, I'm sorry, on the show, and she made a comment about the kids meeting the new girlfriend, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I watched 2 or 3 episodes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills before I decided to tap out this season. But the girlfriend said some things along the lines of, you know what, let me just look it up. Bree Jacoby is her name. She posted something to Instagram and said, to set the record straight. 1, my birthday is September 2nd, one day after hers, not 3. I'm sorry, I feel like that's such a stupid fucking thing to set the record straight on, but whatever. We have been dating for almost 2 years. 3, I'm actually a businesswoman who happens to style, not a celebrity stylist, but you do you, girl. Respect. 4, leave me the fuck alone. 5, what's so insane? You did not want to be married and said it yourself. You wish you left 7 years ago. You're acting like a jealous woman. Get a new storyline. I'm not going anywhere, so get used to it. She also then says, this was all filmed a year after me and R. I think his name's Roger. A year after me and R. I met the kids a year after dating. She knew for months. So sick of her storyline. There you have it. You want the truth? I'll give you the truth. She's a great actor. I actually don't care about anything other than the kids and my relationship. I wish her the best and to find love and happiness. I would be a modern family. Don't know what you meant there. But she can't do it. It's very sad. And that's her own issue. We are better than the drama. But I'm really getting tired of this portraying of him and me. You didn't say that right either, Mama. It's not true. Roger is an incredible father, might I add, and an incredible boyfriend, best human. So there you have it. I will not sit here and take it and allow friends of mine to reach out asking me how I'm doing or handling her talking like this on TV. Let's remember, she went on TV to keep her name relevant. I don't think that's how you spell relevant. And it's her only storyline. We knew that would happen. That's not really the issue. Then why am I on the 4th fucking slide of you laying out the issues? The issue is that she takes zero accountability for her own behavior and is absolutely awful to me. In parentheses, calls me trash. Bad press is good press, so keep talking. If you're gonna talk, at least be a woman and talk to me directly. Like I said, I ain't going anywhere. See ya at the bar mitzvah. Baby, let me tell you something. Bree, you wanted me to talk to you? I wish she would get cussed the fuck out, because who the fuck you feeling like? As a divorcee myself, I don't have no motherfucking kids, but let me tell you something. You cannot comment on how Roger is as a father and as it pertains to my motherfucking kids that I birthed and I have to co-parent with him. I wanted to call Rachel Zoe and be like, let me help you with something, right? Because here's the thing also. I'm so glad that he is a better boyfriend to you than he was husband to me. My ex-husband has a new girlfriend. Well, not even new now. They've been together, right? He has somebody after me. I cannot comment on what type of boyfriend he is to her, because that's their story. Just like I would not want her to comment on what type of husband he was to me. My wish is that he did learn something and treats you better. But that does not negate what I went through. And as far as me and my story and my kids, I can say whatever the fuck I want, especially on my fucking platform. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is my fucking platform. You say you don't want to be a part of the drama, just answer your friend's text, girl. If you really don't want to be about it, then just answer the text messages and stay off fucking Instagram. But no, you don't. You do want to be a part of it. And listen, I'd watch. Okay? I would watch. But all of this hoopling and hollering, I didn't like that. I don't like it. When you date somebody who is married and they have kids, you cannot force this whole modern family thing. I get so sick of people like not Danny. What's the other evil one? What's her boy name? Jesse Lally on The Valley. Stop trying to force this modern family stuff. A modern family would be great, but it needs to come naturally. I feel like in this day and age, people want to rush to get to the modern family aspect, to get to the peace and love and amicability so quickly without talking about what it took to get there, right? And sometimes the road to being amicable is messy. And you just gonna have to weather the storm, right? Sometimes things are going to be fucking messy. Again, I'm so happy for you that Roger's a great boyfriend to you. I bet he was a great boyfriend to her a year in, 2 years in. Everything was fine, obviously, because they were together for like 20 years, and she said she didn't think about leaving until year 7. So she got some years on you, right? And Rachel Zoe can have an opinion on who is around her kids. She really can. They're her kids. I said, oh no, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. And you don't want any clout? Yes, you do. Like I said while I was reading that statement, if you don't want to be about the drama, then why the fuck am I on slide 4 on a Reddit page about everything that you posted? Oh, I said, oh no, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I didn't like that shit. Moving on. Jasmine on the Valley. Y'all, I don't understand what y'all's problem is with Jasmine on the Valley. I don't get it, right? This is a show about a group of friends. We need drama. Jasmine seems to be really dramatic, and she's there to bring the drama. And this week, I really, really felt for her, right? When it came to, y'all know, in the past, I'm not going to say that I liked Michelle, because I didn't like Michelle. It was more so that I didn't like the way that y'all were talking about her when it came to the Jesse of it all, because I find Jesse to be problematic, right? And I find him to be dark-sided, like, excuse me, almost all of the men on this show. But I finally was like, hold on now, Michelle, what the fuck are you doing, right? So on this episode, Kristen has a Y2K night. They're at the bar at 8 p.m. No one's there. I was down with that. Okay. Nobody else was, but I was like, I feel you, girl. And Michelle and Jasmine and a couple other people, I can't remember who was around, are having this conversation about Jesse. And Jasmine asks, like, how are things with you and Jesse? You know, because I know, you know, it was hard. And Michelle says, like, it's hard because he's a showman, and what they're talking about is the show. And Jasmine says, she affirms her, and she says, I bet that would be really hard to be going through something like that with somebody that's like, oh, everybody loves them, but, you know, everybody turns it on, right? Because, again, the show. And she said, I feel like a lot of times we are around people that we would not usually be around if it weren't for the situation when we're in. What she's saying is the show. She's trying not to break the fucking fourth wall, right? And she says, like me and Lala wouldn't go out together. We wouldn't really be around each other, but we are. There's nothing wrong with what she said. Michelle took that when she ran to Lauren from Utah. I was like, and then we see a flashback that Jasmine and Lala went to dinner or lunch or whatever. They went to a meal, and they're sitting there talking, and it's comical. Like, you can kind of hear the silence in it, right? And one of them says, like, we've known each other for so long and we've never done this. Why? Because they're on the show together now. Lala says, I remember Lala saying, like, we've known each other for like 10 years and like now you're a lesbian and I have babies and I can't believe we've never gone out together before. Why? Because we're on the same show. And listen, they've known each other all those years and they never did this. So Jasmine's point stands. The way that Michelle took that to Lala as if Jasmine was calling her fake. And listen, I think Lala is fake. Duh. Lala's whole personality is fake. She wants to be bout it, and oh, I'll pop you, and I'm the blackest person in the room. But you notice she didn't come with that onto the Valley. Why? Because there's a black woman on the Valley. Jasmine is there. Okay, so, excuse me. Michelle gets this whole thing started, and listen, even the way Lala reacted to hearing that Jasmine said something about her, it was not the same way that she has reacted to white women in the past, because with white women, she can be the blackest white woman around. Clock it. Okay? And Jasmine, rightfully so, was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I sat there and was like, what the fuck is Michelle talking about? Jasmine put it as like Michelle has no street smarts, and I said it like this on TikTok. There's a cultural conversation there's a cultural disconnect in the conversation. I don't know what I don't know what to make of Michelle interpreting that way. I really, really don't. But apparently Michelle and Lala are close friends. And like that makes sense because Lala needs to keep a bird brain person around her so that she can kind of do whatever. And I saw that Zach and Jasmine had made a comment about Michelle and Lala doing the caption of like, I can go Brad, I can go Angelina, and they're kind of like cuddling. And I think they said like it's kind of queer baity. Here's the thing with that. I won't say that I necessarily agree because Lala has been open about being openly fluid in the past. Like if you remember on Vanderpump Rules, which I still stand by this is when her and Ariana's friendship changed forever. She went down on Ariana in the back of the car after day drinking while Tom drove them around, and Tom was pissed off about it because he was like, sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Tom was like, Ariana doesn't like hook up with me like that and do that stuff with me. And then he told everybody about it. And at that point, Ariana was not open on the show about being a bisexual. And she had not told us yet. Tom told us, and she didn't like that, which I would be pissed too if I were her. And I know that Lala has talked about hooking up with other girls before. So Lala has been open about being fluid in her, identity. Michelle, I don't know about. Everybody in California seems to kiss anyways, even if you're like more conservative. I feel like that's just a thing that people in California do. And I mean, look, I kiss. I'm down to kiss well, not now because Megan would kill me, right? And I don't want to kiss anybody else. But when I'm single, I feel that. I get what they were trying to say, but because we know Lala is, very fluid, I don't know if it landed. But I think what they were trying to say is that like she was just saying it to get attention. And as the two openly gay members on the cast, it was they side-eyed it. And that's fair. That's totally fair. I side-eyed it because it's annoying. I side-eyed it because it was for attention. You know what I mean? And just because it was for attention doesn't mean that to discount Lala's, queer identity or whatever. I don't fucking know. Who knows what. Lala says she's hitting on the Blackpool boys and any black man that's around on TV, and then she'll pop up with the whitest person we've ever seen in our lives. So, but to carry on, then this theme carries on throughout the episode of Jasmine, kind of being fake, saying one thing to somebody's face and saying something behind their back. I know nobody here in the Valley cast can talk about it. They all do that. But it's reality TV, right? So in the car on the way to Santa Clarita, it's Lala, Brittany's new boyfriend, and Michelle. Michelle does not all of the women start having a conversation. Brittany stays on the fence as she always fucking does. She doesn't say a fucking word. She's living permanently on the fence, and I can't wait till somebody really cracks that open on her ass. But the conversation is like, oh, I heard Jasmine can be kind of flip-floppy. Brittany did that thing where she's like, you think so? Oh, and she does say like that's not her experience with her. But then what Michelle says is, really? You don't think Jasmine can be flip-floppy? Insinuating that she can. So no, Michelle, you never actually said that Jasmine is a flip-flopper. You didn't say that. But you insinuated it when it was brought up. Because if you didn't feel that way, then you would have said what Brittany said, which is, I've never had that experience with her. Okay? And I think Michelle I think Michelle felt that way because Jasmine is cool with Jesse. People are cool with Jesse. She doesn't like that people are cool with Jesse. That's her, estranged husband. She's trying to divorce him. And I got that, right? No, I wouldn't want to be friends with somebody who's, taking up for my ex-husband, especially when he's making my life hell either. But I think that all Michelle heard was, I said Jesse's a showman. And then all of a sudden, Jasmine starts talking about Lala. There's a disconnect there majorly. So then Brittany's new messy ass boyfriend, like, what's his name? Brandon, I think. I don't know. It don't matter. I heard they're broken up anyways. He has said in the car, like, Jasmine's always been really nice to me when I've been around. I think you guys should talk. I think this seems like a misunderstanding, et cetera, et cetera. He tells Jasmine at the party, hey, there was a conversation happening about you in the car that I think you guys need to talk about. Now, when I first saw it, I said, now what the fuck are you getting into business for? You need to keep your mouth shut. And for the most part, I do still feel that way. 95% of me still feels that way because I don't know this man from a can of paint, right? And I don't want to. But a couple of you did point out to me that because clearly this man is a man of color. He look a little black. I don't know though. I don't want to assume, but I know he's not white. Some of you have pointed out that maybe he felt most welcome by Jasmine because she is, you know, the only other person. Is she? Well, her wife is Melissa's not white, but I don't know what she is. Okay. But on the cast, she's the only other full-time cast member that is not white. So maybe there was like a kinship there. I know that before last season, Jason had also mentioned that him and Jasmine were very close, and one thing that they connected on was being the non-white members like in the group, and he always felt responsible for like kind of looking after her, like his mom was a black woman, so he, you know, just raised right? So some of you pointed out that maybe there was like a kinship there and he was trying to let her know without letting her know, and it came off messy. I'm not willing to give him that much credit. I'm really not. I'm so sorry. I'm not feeling that from him. But it came off messy as fuck. So when presented with this, Jasmine's like, okay, let's get to business. We need to talk about it, which her approach, I don't have a problem with either. This is reality TV, babe. We need to get to it, right? We need to get the scene. And where my heart really broke for Jasmine is everybody treating her as if she is overreacting and as if she is, you know, talking and acting out of turn. Zach at one point, who has been bitching about Brittany's new boyfriend and being standing 10 toes down on not liking him, says something to the effect of like, oh, Jasmine like needs to calm down. He didn't have her back the way he should have. And I am very, very sensitive, being like when I'm the only black person and only black woman in the room, when something upsets me and I don't have anybody to like kind of like look around and understand me. She had her wife there, obviously, who is like, I totally understand, like she calmed her down, all of that, but it's different when you don't have like another black person in the room to even be like, did you hear that? Because, or even if they didn't hear it or if they didn't get the same thing that you got from it, it's comforting to be able to be like, this is how I took it. And they can still identify and be able to say like, I did not get that from it, or I wasn't here to hear everything that went on, but I know how you're feeling. I really, really, really hated seeing her stand in a circle of all those white people and start to get upset. Like she walks off. She clearly, after she was talking to Melissa, she was clearly crying because she was so pissed off. I'm the same way. I don't like being misunderstood, right? Yeah, I don't like being misunderstood. And a lot of times, like Michelle had even said, the language that Michelle was using was so fucking bizarre, because she said, did she say attack? Yeah, she at one point she was like, you're attacking me, like why are she, and she told her to calm down. And I was like, Michelle, first of all, bitch, you started this, you repeated the story wrong, you've already told me that I said something that I didn't say, you've twisted my fucking words. And then when I have a reaction to the words that I am getting, you are telling me that I'm attacking you. And then you have Lala and Brittany who are like, no, like we weren't having that conversation. But Lala in her confessional is like, you are in my car, you are in my bubble, you are in my sacred space. Okay, well, you're sitting here making Jasmine you're gaslighting her, making her feel like no conversation was had about her at all whatsoever. And then you're in the confessional saying you were in our bubble to Brittany's man, and you repeat things that are outside the bubble. Listen, if I had a conversation about you in my car, I may not like if somebody ran and told it, but I'm going to be able to be like, yes, what I said was XYZ. And like Lala did say like, oh, I feel like you were flip-floppy, but nobody owned up to what Michelle actually said. And that's what pissed me off. And then of course, her using words like attack and acting like Jasmine is so, you know, outlandish and outrageous, when like you all were on a show with Jax Teller, that's from what's that show, Sons of Anarchy, Jax Taylor. I'm not too far off there though, you know, Taylor, Teller, whatever. But my heart broke for Jasmine, didn't like that. And then, of course, she said online that she was getting hateful DMs and things like that. And it's just so fucking stupid. Moving on, Beyond the Villa. So I am not, so many of you have messaged me and asked me if I'm watching Beyond the Villa. I'm really not interested in it. But and some of you sent me the clips and asked for my opinion, asked for me to talk about this. So I did watch that first episode and I was so annoyed the entire way through. When I tell you, I don't want to see any of those season 7 people that are on that screen right now. I don't want to see them. I'm not interested in their lives. Good luck though. And it's not like I'm just not going to watch a show. I'm not rooting for them to not have a show. I'm just personally not going to be in the equation. But I did watch the first episode so you guys I could answer your questions. And look, here's the thing. Things have since escalated. I am not a Pepe fan. Okay, Pepe says some weird all lives matter shit. I'm not a fan of Pepe. However, while I'm not a fan of him, I'm not ever going to stand on the side of a white woman can say a man of color or a black man is terrifying and then we just believe it. So Hannah went up to Pepe in the episode after Pepe had tried to talk to TJ. TJ kind of like he did blow him off, didn't want to talk to him. He don't fuck with him because Iris don't fuck with him. And I don't have a problem with that, right? Your girlfriend don't fuck, that's your girlfriend's ex. One, your girlfriend doesn't fuck with him, so you're not fucking with him and you don't want to engage with him. Totally fine. But then to have Hannah go up to him and be like, oh, what's up? Like, you can't say hi, and just like pick with him and then not insinuate that he's balding, because there are some gaps in Pepe's hair. There are, right? I've seen them. What she did, the scene in itself was cringy. It was just cringy at best, right? But then what took place online afterwards with people kind of pointing out that Hannah was cringy this episode, because it wasn't just that thing with Pepe. It continued on with like the Coco and Clark thing. When being called out like, okay, you're behaving kind of cringy, she leaves a comment where she says, I'm going to approach this man who terrified, in all caps, my best friend. And you guys aren't girls, or you should do the same. It shows that you haven't had real friends. Okay, Hannah, we got to draw a line here. Okay. And I hear a lot of people being like, well, Hannah's very liberal. That means nothing to me. At the end of the day, Hannah is operating from a place of being a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes. That's how she operates throughout the world. And there's nothing wrong with that, to be clear. But there is a blind spot that TJ, Iris, and Pepe either aren't understanding, or they do understand and they don't care to, right? Even though apparently Iris is Latina. I didn't know that. Somebody said that to me on Threads. I still stand by what I said. For Hannah to get online and when being called cringy, no, it's not fun, but we've all been there, and say that Pepe terrified Iris with no context. And then for TJ to say in the confessional that Pepe preys on young blonde girls, you are painting him in a certain light. And even though I do not agree with Pepe's politics, I'm not like here for Pepe. Me as a person, as a black woman, I cannot stand by that and hear that. First of all, TJ, weirdo, you're saying that he preys on blonde white women. One of my best friends put this amazingly in the group chat, in our group chat today. To say that a Latino man preys on young blonde women in the political climate in Trump's America that we live in right now is so fucking problematic. And it is. 2, I could care less about Hannah's politics when you align yourself with people who are outwardly... TJ's a Trumper. He does not deny that whatsoever. That's your best friend's man. Sorry if I'm not like, oh, she's fight the power with us. You're not. And I'm not gonna, I think everybody has somebody in their life that their politics don't align with. Like, and what I mean by that is, may it be parents, family, something like that. Your friend's boyfriend, not mine, right? Not me. But I can accept when you have people in your life that politics don't align with you. But when people start making excuses for you and say like, oh, that's not what she meant because she has left leaning politics and she would never XYZ, you are in community with people who are against everything you claim to stand for. Just saying, right? The story of Emmett Till is one that I grew up knowing. I have an older brother. He's black. Like, as black kids, we learn things differently. So to get online and say that somebody named Pepe Garcia, and I see a lot of people arguing that Pepe is white passing. White passing where? Pepe is not white passing. I'm so sorry. We have to really rein it in on what we consider white passing, right? But this man named Pepe Garcia say that he terrified her, and then you have TJ pretty much calling him a predator on young blonde women. It's problematic. I get it. It wasn't her best moment. I also think that I wrote on Substack about this. The whole guise of like, if you wouldn't stand up for your friends like this, then you're a shitty friend. Listen, y'all are talking to someone right now. I have literally punched this guy who was abusing my friend. Just to be clear, I don't walk around punching men, but I punched him in the face. I punched him in the throat. Oh no, that was two different guys. I have hit men before. Okay. And listen, hopefully this clip doesn't come back to bite me when I am famous, but you were talking to somebody who, when men have mistreated my friends, I have acted on impulse. Unfortunately put my hands on them. I would not do that to this day. I should have thought more back then, because those were white men and I am a black woman, and they could have had me arrested. It could have been, really bad for me. But I say that to say, I get it. We love our girls and you're always going to stand up for them. If Pepe was like bothering Iris and TJ and like taunting them, fine. But he was like, okay, TJ doesn't want to fuck with me, whatever. I'm going to sit over here and like move around and just stay out of the way. She went over to him and was like, you're bald. We're almost 30. You can only talk. And it just read really cringy. It read really immature, right? And then when you got slack for it, you went and ran to your safe hole, which is white fragility, and said that this man terrified your friend. And I got a little bit of heat of people being like, oh, what happened to believe women? I do believe women. But again, I would be remiss to, as a black woman, to sit here and not point out the problematicness of these white women saying that a man of color terrified them, and then we're just supposed to believe it. That is literally why Emmett Till is not here today. Like, that is why an innocent black man lost his life. Okay. Now, at this point, April 17th, 8:33 p.m. when I'm recording this, I still have not seen anything of where she brought to the surface that Pepe terrified Iris, right? Iris also was like, my Hannah Banana was standing up for me and TJ was standing up for me. Okay. Pepe cheated on her. I don't doubt that. Okay. I don't agree with Iris saying that Pepe wasted her time that she could have spent with TJ. Mama, you could have left with TJ. You could have left the island with TJ. And I'm not blaming you, girl. You and TJ was selling us a story. I wasn't buying it. You was selling us a story. Whatever happened after the island with him cheating, you cheating, whatever. I don't know. And I don't care. I think that this has gone too far off the road to where we need to rein it in. I'm not asking for anybody to be friends with anybody, but we need to keep some things in perspective and instead of trying to like up public opinion and make things be more severe than what they were. Okay. When it came to Coco and Clark's conversation that Hannah like interrupted and was like, no, try again later. You got the right one with Coco and Clark, Hannah Banana. And maybe that she doesn't have the right one, right? Because maybe I would think twice before going off on a little blonde white girl that is so beloved by the public that was on a show with me before. I'm not going to lie. I would, because I know how it's going to look. And sometimes as black people, that's just like, you got to pick your battles. Do I feel like getting public scrutiny because I told Hannah to mind her white ass business when I'm talking to a fellow black woman about our business? Probably not. I don't know. I wasn't in the position, right? But I'm just saying, I understand why Clark and or Coco did not put a stop to her and tell her to pump her brakes and mind her business. Let me be honest, I probably would. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things, like you're helicoptering all around Hannah because you were a fan favorite, and it's not reading well. It's not reading well. Those are my thoughts on that first initial episode. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to watch it anymore. Please don't ask. It was painful for me. I was like, oh my God, I don't care about any of these people. Also, Brian, never mind. I don't care. I don't care. I really, really don't. What do I want to get into? Cut this part out too, Donnie, obviously. Okay, as soon as we woke up this morning, it was said that Kyle was kissing Megan King from Real Housewives of OC. I keep pausing because I keep wanting to say MKE or Megan King Edmonds. She is not in Edmonds anymore. She hasn't been for a long time. But he was kissing Megan King outside of a bar in New York. And people were like, what the hell? Now, I've seen people turn this into saying that they were making out. That video, to me, was not giving making out. And I kind of feel like I felt back, remember when Laguna Beach was on? And they'd be like, me and Talon hooked up. Me and so-and-so hooked up. And we were like, what is hooking up? Right? We all needed a clarification. I'm still to this day not sure what hooking up was. I haven't watched the reunion, so I don't know if they clarified that at all. But people are saying that they made out. I just saw a kiss and it was really awkward. Kyle's hands were on her shoulders and he looked like he was on his tippy toes. Was he on his tippy toes? No, but Megan King is tall. I've seen her in person multiple times. I'm 5'8". She is taller than me. And then she had heels on when I saw the couple times that I've seen her, and she was even taller than me. Like, I was like, whoa, right? So they kissed. To me, it was just a mwah outside of a bar, and we were all like, what the hell? And I think Kyle has also been seen with someone else as well. So Lord only knows. Sierra did a great interview with Glamour magazine. She looked gorgeous. I loved reading what Sierra had to say. Like surrounding, the West and Amanda of it all. I love just hearing her. She sounds a lot better. I don't want to say a lot better. I appreciate the thoughtfulness and the time that Sierra took to come out and talk, and then that, especially that she didn't get on a podcast, because Sierra is, everyone's like, oh, I want the Ariana Madix treatment for her, blah, blah, blah. Sierra is unfortunately not in the same situation as Ariana for multiple reasons. The situation is not the same whatsoever. However, so many people are negating her experience and arguing to why she should not be upset or she doesn't have a right to be upset about it. And I don't like that, right? Because I do think that she has a right to be upset. This last episode of Summer House was a rough watch. And if you guys want to know my feelings on the episode and things like that, of course, you can get on my TikTok, you can get on my Instagram and see the in-depth thoughts on the episode there. But what she said, which was, if they're in love, so be it. Obviously, things are never going to be the same. She spent so much time pouring into Amanda. I think that's what's clear. She spent so much time pouring into Amanda. Even if everyone comes back to the Summer House next season and everything, their friendship's never going to be the same, and it shouldn't be. She shouldn't have to. Now, I did see a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. Let me not over-exaggerate. I did see a few people commenting on whether or not it was like fair of her to have boundaries with West of no hooking up with other people on Bravo. First things first, Sierra's a Capricorn. Them Capricorn boundaries are tight. Capricorns are strict, baby. Capricorn women, they are strict as fuck. So here's my thing. If Sierra said one of my boundaries is no hooking up with women on Bravo, and West said, okay, but that's West's fuck up. Use your words. You are a fucking big boy and say, I'm not going to do that. Say that. You know what I mean? But from what it sounds like in the interview, he was like, yeah, okay. And just kind of like going along and getting along to say, okay. Instead of having a fucking backbone, unless he's hiding behind one of his friends at TMZ to put out stories. But I think For what I can see where she's coming from with the no hooking up with people on Bravo, because there was, remember after his first season, I think it was, after they had broken up, he was in everybody's DMs. It's so fucking thirsty. Like, it's so fucking thirsty. And I do believe that Sierra is trying, or was trying, to give him some friendly advice, kind of like we saw her do in that first episode of last season, where she's like, you're just eating up this fan stuff so much, and when they're with you, they're with you. When they're against you, they're against you. It's not, you know, it's not ever going to be solid. You need to focus on the relationships and the people that are in front of you. That's what she's saying to him. So if I had to, without any other context, it could be that. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, ain't no benefit of the doubt. Like I said, Capricorn women strict, all right? And you know how they are. If you have a Capricorn woman in your life, you know they're strict, and you know what it is and what it isn't. If you don't agree with their boundaries, then be a big boy and say that. That's why I don't have, if I could have negative respect for West, I fucking would. Oh my God. Now, the Southern Hospitality reunion filmed yesterday. I feel like that's so early, but Southern Hospitality still is not in the long season range yet. They have probably like maybe 12 episodes a season, 10 to 12 episodes a season, if I'm remembering properly. They are getting an on-set big boy, big girl reunion now, which is exciting. So they all were in New York. They filmed the reunion. It's interesting to see. You can already see the divide in that cast. I think I saw like Michaels, Emmy, Lake, and Maddie were all out to breakfast this morning. And then of course you have the Mia, TJ, that whole gang kind of, and Molly kind of separated. Lake, listen, I hope somebody got in Lake's ass. I really do, because she's being so fucking embarrassing. I'm surprised Lake has all this in her for Mia, but you were fucking mute when it came to correcting the white girls that had you in trouble with your black friends for repeating black business. Your mom even had to tell you, do not be repeating black business, right? So, and next week they're supposed to be getting in each other's faces. That's gonna wrap up the reality pop TV, pop culture segment of this podcast. I do have, I want to talk about The Pit. I want to talk about Euphoria really quickly. And I'm actually, Donnie, cut this out too. I'm going to talk about The Pit. If you want to hear me talk about Euphoria, you can listen to me and Kendrick and Raven over on Kendrick's podcast. I cannot. I'm really trying to make sure, like, since we do so many podcasts, as you all know, together, that we are not overlapping, and y'all can know where, if you want to hear me talk about this, if you want to hear me talk about that, I'm directing you where to go, right? But I did want to tell y'all, I finished a book. I finished the book Fly With Me by, who is that book by? Andy Burke. I rated it, like, I pulled up my Goodreads. I gave it a 4. I really wish I could do halves on Goodreads. I rated it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I would keep it at a 4 or maybe a 4.5. It just lost me a little bit in the middle, but I can also admit that I don't know if it lost me because I've been so stressed out with work, or if it lost me because it was just lost. My main takeaways, I loved the book. I thought it was very cutesy, very happily ever after. My main takeaways, though, were I wish that we would have gotten more resolve with Olive's family, because it was just kind of left, and I felt like that there was a resolution that could have been had there. And I also wish that we had more resolution of Olive's long-term plan as far as her mental health, so her anxiety and her depression. But it kind of just like wrapped up the story of her and Stella, and then went into the epilogue, like giving happily ever after. But I thought it was very cute, and I will say, while I'm saying it's cute, I thought the depiction of Olive's ex-girlfriend Lindsay was so accurate for when you date people, when somebody is dating somebody and they're suffering with anxiety and depression, and their partner really does not understand and is making them feel like it's all in their head. And like somebody who has anxiety and depression, yes, sometimes it is all in your head, But there is an understanding piece that if you have a good partner, they will understand and they will talk with you and talk you through it. Her ex-girlfriend was the fucking devil. I wish that we would have had the resolve of somebody at least slapping her in her fucking face, but she was written really well, because if I want to actually slap you like you're a real human, then that means your character was written well. You know what I mean? But I think it's good for people, if anybody suffers with anxiety and depression, to see and or hear or read how that relationship kind of played out, to pick up the signs of how like a toxic partner can be if you have, or if you are suffering with anxiety and depression, and what relationships that you really do not need to be in if you are suffering with anxiety and depression. Now, with that being said, the pit is over. I love the pit, right? We know I love the pit. Y'all know Dr. Robbie is very important to me. And I knew nothing was going to happen to Dr. Robbie. Y'all was talking the whole season. Oh my God, Dr. Robbie, what's going to happen to him? Nothing. What do you mean what's going to happen to Dr. Robbie? This is the pit. This is his ED. Nothing's going to happen to him. He's going to get some help, okay? Do y'all think that he adopted baby Jane Doe? Because I could see it either way. I hope he did. And I think he did, because when he was talking to Samira, I forgot her name. When he was talking to her, and he said, like, I thought that I would have kids, like, and have property by a lake by now, blah, blah, blah. And then he says to baby Jane Doe, like, it's never too late. You have people to love you, blah, blah. I was like, I really hope he adopts this baby. Now, I'm not super familiar with the adoption process, but Robbie, like, you can't be adopting a baby after having a full day of telling people that you might self-delete. Like, hello, you can't be saying that, right? But I would love to see him come back next season with baby Jane Doe as his daughter. Dana will save the fucking world. Let me tell y'all that. Dana is going to save us all, because when the police officers came by and she was like, hey, ain't nobody picked up these rape kits. And the lady was like, that's not on us. I don't care who it's on. You're going to take them. You're going to take them because you need to, right? And she kept running that mouth. And I was like, you know what? Dana, I hate this phrase. I really do, especially in this climate. But like, Dana for president. Dana for fucking president, right? Also, if y'all are not watching Imperfect Women with Kerry Washington, and I think it's Kate Mara, and is it Elizabeth? No, it's not Elizabeth Moss. The girl from Handmaid's Tale. Kerry Washington, Imperfect Women. Y'all need to watch it. You need to watch it so then we can discuss it, okay? But on that note, I've already kept y'all longer than I thought. What's funny is at 15-minute mark when I was recording this, I was like, you know what? I'm almost done. This is going to be a short episode. Here we are. Y'all know where you can follow me. First of all, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Love you so much. If you're here on YouTube, don't forget to engage in the conversation in the comments, subscribe, all of those things. You can find me over on Instagram, Who Asked Zell / Who Asked Me Podcast. Yes, 2 different Instagram pages. Over on TikTok for Who Asked Me. No, it's Who Asked Zell over on TikTok as well. And I have started a Substack. I've been writing a lot more, and it's just Zell Brooks, SELLEBROOKS. Or if you just go to one of my pages and you click the link tree in my bio, it will take you to everywhere that you can find me. I will talk to y'all next week. Bye.